Hello and welcome to my playthrough of Final Fantasy Tactics. This is the 14th story battle of the game, Bariaus Hill. It's notable for a couple things. First of all, it's the last time in the game that you'll get to have two guests in the party. Agrius is going to take a break after this, and by the time she gets back, Mustadio will no longer be a guest. On top of that, it's the first time that you have to deal with enemy summoners. So that's going to be a big feature of this fight, because they can do a lot of damage to a lot of people very quickly. However, they don't have much mana, so usually they can only get off a couple casts before they're dry and basically useless. However, you really need to make sure you're not in a bad position when that happens. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to charge the one on the left. For some reason, she always seems to be the most dangerous of the two. So here we've got Timothy. I've made him a thief, well, kept him a thief, given him battle boots, given him move +1 so he can move like a fiend, and I'm going to just have him charge straight at her. I'm going to have Ramza a little bit behind him so we can kind of stagger these guys. It'll force the summoner to come a bit closer if she wants to try to hit both of them. And then I'll load them up with Shell here. Well, I'll load Ramza up with Shell. Timothy can fend for himself. Mustadio, I think, is going to run into the Shell. Yeah, his AI tends to do that. Also, it's basically the radius of his movement. Mustadio is actually going to probably be the bulk of the damage here to the summoner. As much as I'd like to, the thieves don't hit very hard. They do, however, have mage mashers, so they might silence her, and that's basically as good as killing her, at least early on. Now, once you get past the summoners, these archers are the big problem, as you can see, and they're already going after Mustadio and my priest here, and that's a lot of damage. So I've made sure to bring a lot of healing to this map. I've got two casters, both of them can moogle, and one of them is a priest, so I've got lots of healing. Agrius also has white magic as her second command again, so if she's really needed, then we can go with that. I'll also load haste on these guys so that we can try to get this summoner down a little bit faster. Like I said, it's only two casts, but if she gets it off on the bulk of your party, you will lose guys immediately, and it becomes a huge problem. Alright, so we got the shell going off, and be about as prepared as we can be. Normally I'd like to buff in the starting area and then move out, but on this map you really do need the initiative of charging in on the summoner before she can do much. In fact, 63 MP, she might actually be able to do a whole lot. So here's the first summon. We're gonna have to weather a Shiva. That's pretty good damage. Ramza's taking 63, so without the shell, he'd be dead or close to it. So let's... there we go. Or not. That's unfortunate. Okay, well, hopefully I can hit her with Timothy, and that will put her in range of Mustadio finishing her off. Charge +5, wow. And that guy is going to do a lot of damage. Again, why I brought so many people with ridiculous amounts of healing. And unfortunately, I'm leaving the summoner at 3, which is not what I wanted. Now I'm going to have to move her forwards and reply to her summon with my own. Moogle is a lot cheaper and it heals for a ton. So I should be able to get... yeah, I can get everyone and I can get them out of trouble. At this point, the summoner on the other side will probably want to try to charge in and start hitting my guys, so I want to get them out of there as soon as possible, so they're not taking both summoners. I'm not getting any stops out of Agrius. Would be nice if at least one of the status effects I could potentially be landing would hit. Agrius, of course, is a head break. Alright, fine. At least that one's going in my favor. As I was saying, Agrius is a tank. They're probably going to ignore her, basically, because of that. They're only going to go after her if she's the only thing they can hit, and the knights will probably be in that situation. But the archers and the summoners are clearly after my much squishier targets. I did buy gear in Zalan Fort City, but I've only been able to get my HP up a little bit above 100 on most of these guys. There's only so much you can do with thieves and casters, so I mean, they're scoffed, they're squishy, and I'm just got to deal with it. Piles and piles of healing. It's the only way. That's a lot less damage. Guess he didn't want to go for the charge plus ridiculousness that time. Now, this is the downside to running into this valley, is that the archers who are on the hill can shoot you from pretty far away. That's another reason why you want to pull out of the valley as soon as you've gone down and taken out the summoner. So we're going to get yet another Moogle. Oh, and in case there weren't enough reasons to pull back out of that valley, in addition to getting away from the summoner and reducing the range of the archers, I also wanted to try to pull everyone towards me. So I'm going to go into the corner, and if they all cluster trying to chase after me, then I can land a big summon of my own and hit a pile of their guys, and that tends to shift fights pretty dramatically. As you'll probably remember if you watched the last video, that I started off with a Shiva on 3 of their guys, and that was a pretty big opening. Mustadio is dedicated to uselessness, shooting some random knight. We'll get Timothy out of there. He did just have a Shiva land on him. That's the first one from her. I'm not going to be able to take her out before she gets her second cast off, but once she does, she'll be useless. And hopefully she just lands it on Mustadio there, who is probably not smart enough to pull himself out of the valley. And let's get my priest out of here. And unfortunately I made a mistake and tried to cast on Ramza instead of the square. But this guy's going to move before I can paralyze him, so Ramza basically can't do anything now. Speed break. I want to try all the weird break abilities on her. Yet more Moogle. Although this is really an example of the kind of fight where it can really shine, because you're taking piles of damage and it's healing all of your guys. Still no stop from the Stasis Sword. Just no luck for Agrius. And, of course, the AI is going to pull her out of there, and that means they're going to charge at my casters, which is nifty. He's about to one-shot my priest because she's only at 80. I'm probably going to have to Moogle, but Ramu would have been nice, but it's too slow. And she's really the only person who's in any danger. Haste is not going to help. Yeah, I think it's going to have to be the Moogle. I don't really have much choice here. And this time I will remember to put it on the panel instead of Ramza. And I will get her away from this knight. Although that puts her in range of the other archer, I imagine. Well, Shell certainly served its purpose. So, yeah. I don't really want to pull him out and just get the archers shooting at him, so I think I'm going to try to paralyze the knight that's charging over there. The charge is going to go off still regardless, but he won't move away, so I can just throw it on him and not worry about accidentally hitting one of my own guys after he moves. Oh, so we have finally drawn some guys in, so that's good. Although, it's only 2. Maybe this guy... No, he's going the other way. And it's because I moved my Time Mage out. Alright. Ha! I was so worried about that charge and she guards it. Weapon Guard is really starting to win me over, especially on the casters. It's not so great on melee guys because the weapon dodge, or rather weapon parry, or whatever they call it, on their weapons is pretty low. Like, we're talking about 5, maybe 6, even 8. But on casters, it tends to be somewhere between 15 and 20%, which is really high, all things considered. And once I get them Wizard Mantles, which I'm going to do fairly soon, they'll actually be dodging quite a bit. So So I'm going to go here for the archer, because I want to spread some damage out, because I'm hoping to hit them both with a summon, and I think the knight is done for when I do that. So I don't need to worry about the others. Or he could guard the paralyze. Now, Summoner's moving, and yeah, she's choosing Mustadio again, which is pretty good, because then she'll be out, and even if he dies, he's still a guest, so he doesn't really die. And I'd love to Ifrit both those guys, but it looks like the knight is going to move, but he's low, so I think I'm just going to drop Ifrit right on him, and that should put him out of the fight. These knights are actually starting to get pretty annoying since they're right in my face and they're beating up on my caster. So Shiva number 2 should put her basically out of mana. And Mustadio is actually able to weather it, so we're in kind of good shape. 56, so he's not going to kill her. I have to make sure the other knight doesn't. Yeah, and Ramza can do that simply by standing in his way. He doesn't have enough for paralyze anymore, so we're definitely going with the stand in his way plan here. Okay, well, be defensive all you want. You're not going to kill my priest, at least. And this will finish this knight. Kind of tragic that I have to cast it on one guy, but I guess that's how it rolls in this specific match. You know, we can get Agris on this guy. If I'd hit him with Ramza, he'd be done, but unfortunately, he's going to be able to get away with critically low HP here. But he's going to miss Ramza, at least. So she's pretty hurt, but yeah, 99 damage. He'll be almost dead. If Timothy lands, then he's done, so I'm going to go for it. My casters are actually starting to run out of mana as well, so I don't really have much choice. I have to go for offense at this point. Oh, we could miss. That is bad. That is really bad. Okay, so he's going to kill her as soon as he goes. Which is probably that charge plus 5 again. I think he's the one who had it. So it means I've got a lot of time before it goes off. Well, at least going to get Ramu, so he will be low. My priest does have raise, as does Agrius, so in the worst case, she isn't in that much risk of crystallizing. But hopefully we get another shot. Mustadio's potioning instead of shooting him. But I guess I can't blame him, considering he was at 20. Not quite enough. Oh, but I do have Moogle, so that should fix the main problem here. She can heal both herself and the Time Mage. Yes, welcome to Bariaus Hill, where you can watch me abuse AoE healing. It's kind of counterintuitive when you think about it, because you'd expect that the summoners would want me, or would have me wanting to split my party up, but since they can't do that much, you can just have guys run out and provoke it out of them. And here, yes, I can get this archer, so that takes care of him. 35, wow. That's actually a lot. However, instead of worrying about her, I'm going to get this knight, because he'll still deal more than that, and I'd rather not worry about him running away in critical health and potioning and coming back, or something like that. Although I guess he was the one with charge, so probably didn't have much in his bag of tricks. And yeah, there's not much for her to do. Might as well haste these guys. So, as I said, I'm running out of mana, so I'm going to bring her over here. And she probably should cure herself since she's a bit low. But the advantage of this is that I can have Timothy use Chakra, and she'll get a bunch of her mana back, so she can keep casting even after this. And this archer is going crazy for potions. Well, he's coming back into the fight, so I want to charge him. Stadio must want some of that cure, I guess. Did take a lot of damage, although... He's at 93 now. Now, it looks like Agrius is going to finish the summer, so it's just the archer now. And Suzanne is out of mana, and she can't get very close to Timothy, so let's just get her as close as I can, and then she's done. Movement 6. Can start on this archer right away, although 12 damage is underwhelming. So let's get that chakra that I said I was going to do. That will allow Suzanne to keep casting. Although it's probably not important now that the last archer is down in his 60s, but then we'll charge and get him as close as possible. Even movement 6 can't quite cut it here. And I think I'll just move her in so whoever needs healing can get it, although maybe there's a chance I can. I don't know. No, Ifrit's too expensive. Should have realized that. And she can't do anything, so just sit around. No, correction. She can't do anything but soak damage. Oh, Agrius is going in. Yeah, that's going to nearly finish this guy. 49 gil, don't spend it all on one thing. And that will do it. So that's it for Bariaus Hill. Again, lots of AoE healing, rushing summoners, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess you have to worry about the archers too. Next up, we have Ziggler's Swamp, where I will let Mustadio carry my party for the last time this chapter. See you there.